everything goes right, you can get the car there in 2 weeks. But the ships don't leave every single day.
Exactly.
And then you also have to queue. You can't just instantly load the cars. So the cars, you have to send 2,000 cars to a lot in Port Oakland or Port San Francisco, accumulate the cars, then they get moved to another place, then they get loaded onto the ship one at a time.
Oh my god!
And then finally the ship leaves, and then sometimes the ship has problems.
Yes.
And there's storms or something.
Storm and custom.
It's
you
not
have to go through every single.
It's so much drama. Then there's
too many ways to go wrong.
And then the ship's engine broke down. It's just it's stuck somewhere. and
But it's great. Right now, everything roll off the production line, go directly to the delivery center.
It's great.
It's wonderful. So I have another question. It's from your perspective, how do Chinese public perceive EV?
Well, China is very pro EV, and it's the biggest EV market in the world. I think it's half of all the EVs are made and bought in China.
Yeah,
something like that.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. So China subsidies for EVs have dropped considerably, so that did cause a reduction.
Helps a lot, yeah.
Well, the EV incentives were very high in China, and now they're much less. They're a third of what they used to be, or less.
Yes.
So that's caused some decline in demand, as one would expect. But China is still the biggest market for EVs in the world, so I think they're very positively received.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So talking about the incentives, because I know the price, there was a small price reduction, right, in the Chinese Model 3, but then the subsidies they're balanced, so it's actually not. It's not any impact on Tesla in the profit, right?
No, I don't think so. Well, I think obviously depending on what percentage of the car is made in China, the parts that are made in China are not subject to a tariff, so that's certainly helpful. We also save on logistics, and generally we found that locally sourced parts in China cost less than in the US or Europe. So this is all pretty helpful. Also, the Tesla got added to the purchase tax exemption, which all the other. This is. I'm not sure if people realize just how much of an uphill battle Tesla has had to sell cars in China. It's been really, we had basically no access to any of the subsidies, and we paid a tariff, and we had to ship the cars over, and every single thing was set against Tesla, and still we made progress and did decently well. So I think that there will be a much better situation with local production, not having to do shipping and tariffs, and being able to have lower cost local sourcing of components. So it make a big difference, I think.
Is that your victory dance when you broke ground in China?
Yeah, so that was great.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big
Huge.
Just in terms of just fundamental economics, it kind of makes sense that making cars on the continent where they are bought will be a lot more efficient than making them in California and shipping them around the world. Yeah.
And you can get paid for the cars before paying your suppliers, which seems to not be the case if you're shipping around the world. Right. And that could be a huge friction on the whole kind of cash flow situation, or it has been.
For sure. It will sure make a big difference on cash flow because, it's there's just no way to get the cars, especially to Europe, but even to China, to get them to customers, before we have to pay suppliers. So if you're a rapidly growing company, it's night and day if you get paid by your customers before you have to pay your suppliers, like night and day, because then the faster you grow, the better your cash position is. Mm-hmm. But if it's the other way around, where you have to pay your suppliers before you get paid by customers, then the faster you grow, the faster your cash position drops.
Yes, because you're going to spend more money to make more cars.
So growth actually causes you to auger into the ground in a situation like that. Now at Tesla, we had a mixture of both things, where we had a lot of customers in California, and that's fast for sure. We would get paid by customers faster than we would have to pay suppliers. But then for cars going to Europe and Asia, it's the other way around, you know. So we would have to pay suppliers before we got paid by customers, and now we could offset some of that with the asset-backed line, which was pretty helpful, but only some of it, not all of it. So the fundamental financial health for sure improves dramatically by just having a factory on the continent. Okay, we're not talking next door, but it's just how many oceans, you know, like especially Europe was logistically super hard because we're on the West Coast. If we're on the East Coast, then China would be much harder. But if you're on the West Coast, Europe's much harder because you've got to go through the Panama Canal, or even worse, around, you know, Tierra del Fuego. Because sometimes the Panama Canal get backed up, and you're like, this friggin' ship is going to the Antarctic. Okay. It's like you just go up to the and it's stormy as hell. So you got to send a ship around Chile? Are you kidding? You know, in the middle of crazy storms, and then back up all the way, and then like, you know, it is so funny. Oh my god. So logistic nightmare. So yeah, it'd be great to just have it not get on a boat and cross the Pacific and Atlantic and that kind of thing.
So maybe similar to Vincent's question earlier, what's the biggest advantage in choosing Berlin compared to other European countries?
Berlin has the best nightclubs.
That's true. Have you been?
I went to Bergheim once.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's cool.
Yeah, so several years ago. Well, no, I don't know. I mean, we looked at a lot of different locations, and I think sort of, I don't know. We could have put it in a lot of locations. We needed to move quickly, and actually this place, you know, it's like whatever, 30 minutes to the outskirts of Berlin, technically in Brandenburg. It actually was a location that BMW was going to put a plant there. So a ton of the environmental work and all of the permits and stuff had already been done, and then for some reason BMW chose a different location. But there's like, I guess, something on the order of a year's worth of environmental you know, paperwork and stuff that's been done on that location for an auto plant.
Awesome.
So that it made it one of the quickest places to get going. And generally, like the government, local and state government, was very supportive. So, you know, I went there, and it's like, okay, this seems like some pretty good vibes. This place, so there's a lovely part of this lovely place, and there's an opportunity for, like, it's close enough to Berlin that, say, young people could still, you know, live in an apartment in Berlin and commute to the factory. It's right, there's a train station. They're actually going to move the train station. It's a small train station, but they're going to move the train station to where you can literally get off the train and be right at the Giga Berlin.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's perfect.
You could literally just pop right off, and you just walk.
Wow.
You don't need a bicycle. So then it's like, okay, this is pretty cool. And you know, so young people could be in Berlin, in Parliament, and still, you know, can work at Giga Berlin. But if you want to have more of a family situation, the backyard, there's, you know, affordable housing available with, you know, houses with yards and stuff that aren't too expensive. Yeah. So it seems like a good combination of factors. Yeah, a lot of talent, you know, in the area. So, it sounds cool to Giga Berlin. It does sound like some cool nightclub, I think. You know, you could definitely have a cool nightclub that was called that. People are like, yeah, Sounds good.
Maybe we should have
Giga Shanghai too. It sounds pretty cool. You know, pretty
We
fun.
should party in Giga Shanghai.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have like a rave cave in the.
There's a lot of
Giga
space around the factory side.
Yeah,
But you should have like your own nightclub.
yeah. I think that'll be who doesn't know. Who doesn't? We should do that. I feel like I'd go for sure work at a company that's got the nightclub. That sounds way more fun.
Didn't you want to put a roller coaster into the Fremont factory?
Yeah.
You still gonna do that?
I mean, I think that would be pretty fun to do. Yeah. I think we could just like do, just basically have like, we just need a rail that can support like a modified Teslas, and then
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine a plaid?
yeah, just like zip around and
Around the factory in like 5 seconds.
Tours would be booked for months.
Yeah, we should get in right now. Awesome.
yeah, we kind of actually in various parts of the factory we have vehicle conveyance systems. They just don't move that fast, but they're kind of like roller coasters that
You
move
could
slowly.
speed them up.
Yeah, you can speed them up. Exactly. So yeah, but yeah, overall I'm feeling pretty. You know, I don't want to tempt fate or anything, but feeling pretty good about where things are headed. I think there's just a lot of good things. You know, got Model Y coming out this year, and some exciting announcements about batteries. A lot of progress in autopilot. Yeah. And so bullying Giga Berlin, and then making progress on some of the new vehicle developments. And solar glass roof, getting that rolled out.
The Cybertruck got received really well, I think.
Yeah.
Did you expect that many orders?
Not really.
It's amazing.
When I first saw the Cybertruck in Franz's design studio, I mean, Elon had told me that this was a daring design. Although I think you're the most excited about this design than any design.
Yeah, I think it's our best product ever.
Yeah, and I saw it. I was just taken aback, and not by the design so much, by the pure aggression that the truck. You stand in front of it, and you're like, okay, I'm afraid. It really is like a badass truck.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like a lot of reasons why people buy pickup trucks, in the U.S. is like because it's like the most badass truck, like which one's the toughest truck, and it's like what's tougher than a truck? A tank. Like a tank from the future. So it's like
my niece in Cochrane, which is near Calgary, she's a dirt bike rider champion, and already 5 Cybertrucks were ordered just the day.
5 Cybertrucks.
Because they
Just in case the first 4 are busy.
Yeah, 5 of her friends ordered.
She's done her.
And she's also putting already.
yeah, absolutely.
They just love it.
Yeah, it's literally like, so how do you out tough a truck? You just make a futuristic armored personnel carrier, and that's tougher than a truck.
And I feel like autonomy will probably be very mature by the time it ships too.
For sure.
So how many Cybertruck orders do we have right here?
Raise your hand.
I got one.
We all have Cybertruck.
2? I ordered 3.
I mean, it's gonna be pretty special and not look like other things. So yeah.
It looks so cool. Like the first time I show it to my son, it's like, Daddy, this is something from Alien. This is his first impression.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, it is.
That's how it was designed. It's like, what's the, let's make a futuristic armored personnel carrier, and so the inspiration board was like literally Blade Runner, like sort of Mad Max, Back to the Future, Aliens. They've so that's why it looks like that.
Like the pre-order number is amazing.
Well, it's got to be over 400,000 now, right?
I think way more.
I think it was just so risky, and it just at first people were even people who were hardcore fans were oh, this when it first rolled out, and then people are you know what?
Wait a minute,
this is kind of amazing. I want this.
You could see it like there was like in person. You could see it happening really fast.
It's
like
growing.
the reaction and then the processing, and then you're seeing all the features, and then the range and the price. Those are the compelling things that really
killing
like
it.
just hit everybody.
Yeah,
really.
the 40,000 was the biggest shocker.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, people are going to be buying
and
this.
that range too.
Yeah.
Like it's just
No,
it
actually, the
was beyond.
69,500 miles with 2.9 seconds. Like, come on, like, dude, you have to get it. Like, no way.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and Sid
amazing.
Mead loved it too, right?
He did actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the last things he said actually.
That's, yeah.
Did he have a drive in it?
And no, he saw pictures of it, but I think he was not. Obviously, he died recently, so he didn't. He saw pictures and he said, "Yeah, that's great." And he said, "Send us a note, like he loves it," you know.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So, but you know, you want to have these things that inspire people. It feels different, not like everything else is like the same. It's like variations on the same theme. You want to have something different. But you feel like how many? I wasn't sure if nobody would buy it or a lot of people would buy it. It just wasn't. You know, I don't know. But you know, I just told the team like, listen, if nobody wants to buy this, we can always make one that looks like the other trucks. That's not like
Yeah.
Yeah, you can always just try it and see
we
how
could say
people
like,
feel.
okay, it was a. You know, we could say, okay, it was a weird failure, but now we'll make one that looks just like the others, and there you go. So
It seems to have captured the whole world though, like elevated Tesla in the cultural zeitgeist in a way that like is so exciting. Like the Travis Scott music video already happened. Like that was so.
cool.
I was
That was
waiting
cool.
for the first music video, and I was
free
like,
advertising, right?
yeah, so
Yeah.
awesome.
Really cool.
yeah, it's going to be hard to make that, by the way. So it's not. Because it's a different architecture. It's an exoskeleton architecture, so there isn't any cars out there that have an exoskeleton architecture. So you got to rethink how all the internals of the car are done, so that you can use the external shell as a load-bearing structure instead of just basically thin sheet metal that is effectively just there for aerodynamic reasons. So you could take the external what's called A-class surfaces off most cars and still drive around with it lose almost no structural value. They usually go very, very thin sheet metal, so it's all endoskeleton. So there'll be some challenges building that.
It's a Starships 3. It's a Starships, yeah.
You can use the same steel as the ship.
Yeah, I'd love one of those limited quantity ones.
Oh, I know.
Sure,
Like
sweet.
Tim had shouted out.
Yeah,
about,
Tim had asked about that. Everyday astronaut.
Yeah,
He's a cool guy.
he's a cool guy. He really knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he does.
So yeah, so there's a lot of a lot of good things. There'll undoubtedly be some setbacks along the way, but it's looking pretty good.
Should we do some closing thoughts?
You know, I just remember when I got my Model 3, it was like a difficult time in my life and it made it easier. And, you don't have to buy gas, car drives you around. It just makes your life better. All of our lives in these little ways, like all this struggle you do, it really makes things better and just makes you hopeful and inspired. And, I just can't thank you and the whole Tesla team and enough for all the love you put into the car. And every day it's just happy because I have a Model 3.
That's cool. I'm glad you like it. That's our goal. Our goal is to, maximize make people like really touch people's heart, with the product. And it's I think like too many of these companies out there that design these things whether it's sort of a spreadsheet and sort of marketing surveys and that kind of thing, without saying, "Do you love it?" Do you
love the
actually like the product that you're making? Do you
It
love
touched my heart very much.
Right.
I'd like to thank you for this chance, like doing interview with all of us. And as a shareholder and Model 3 owner, I remember like one time you tweet about your money is first in and will be last out.
Yeah.
I was really touched to see that tweet. I think it's like years ago.
Sure.
Like right after one of the shareholder meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I was like which CEO would do this, And like after I bought my Model 3, I more believed to the company Like I ordered a Model Y and then 2 Cybertruck. I was like, I'm a Porsche fans before, and then right now, like,
He was gonna get a Taycan until he saw the range.
yeah, I was thinking to get a Taycan. Like, why not? Like, give it a try. But
Sure.
when you look at the spec, the range turned me off. Like
Yeah.
And
It's
the price,
obsolete
too.
already.
201. Like, who's gonna buy a
for 150K as well.
just not talk about money, just talk about range itself. The spec, it's not there yet.
Yeah.
So with like 150K plus, like nobody gonna buy it. Yeah. So thank you, Elon. And
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you very much.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks you guys for your support. It really makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't own a Tesla, so hopefully I will.
You ordered a Cybertruck though,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true.
Yeah.
and you're a shareholder.
but
Are you
it's
still in college?
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I gotta save up.
Okay.
But I will buy one, and I've got the Cybertruck, like you said.
Yeah.
But like I've made so many great memories just like through these cars. Like I've met all you guys through Tesla, and this is like amazing. Just like what kind of community just is created through products that you love, and I think that really means a lot. Like I think I've never seen people being so excited about a product before.
Yeah.
Or like having this whole family feeling. It's really
That's cool.
cool. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say congrats, first of all, because I feel like it's kind of like a feel-good moment for Tesla, all that's happening.
Yeah.
And obviously, thank you, because like you've inspired all of us. And I think there's not many things in the world that like people get pumped about that are positive about the future. Like, really feel like we need that now. And so Tesla, like bringing us all together has been really awesome and really much needed, I think.
Great. This is really cool.
I think I'd have to agree with what Gally said. Just where Tesla's going, you have a car that's actually making a difference with the clean energy, changing the earth, cleaning things up. I mean, it made me excited to see. And you're so efficient, and you actually get things the way you do it. You just, I don't know, you get it done. and I trust you, and I trust the company, and it's I don't know, such a passion. It's amazing. I don't know. I don't get the words out.
We're sometimes a little late, but we get it done in the end.
Yeah.
Always deliver.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for your support.
Well, I just want to say, like, how I described this podcast, like it kind of just grew out grassroots, right? And I look at you as also part of the community. You're as much third row as all of us, right? So I mean, I'm really grateful you were able to come on this and also tell the story.
Absolutely.
Show more people. I hope we can do it again too, because I'm sure there's going to be
Sure.
things that come up that we want to set the record straight to,
Yeah.
and maybe have some celebrations too. So
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I mean,
Thank
there's a lot of exciting things. Probably, like I said, probably some, disasters and drama along the way. It's never 100% good.
we'll
but,
be there to help. So
I mean, it's always good to get feedback. Like if you're in my position, what would you do?
Right.
Like a lot of times, like I just don't know if something's wrong. I just don't even know it's wrong. Because I have to learn it somehow, and then allocate, try to figure out, okay, how do we deal with all these different issues? Scaling service effectively is very difficult, for example, and so that's like it's like a mundane thing, but it's very important.
Definitely. Yeah, I think the mobile service is incredible. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on my 5th Tesla now.
Yeah.
Not the last, because I just keep upgrading them.
Yeah.
So the last one, I have a P100D Model S, which is outside right there. And I got the license plate Get Tesla.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, if you want it, I would love to give it to you. So yeah, thank you again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool.
Elon, can you sign my Model 3?
Sure.
Oh yeah, and my Model S too.
All right. Cool.
Okay, thank you.
welcome to the Third Row Tesla podcast. My name is Safian Farval, and today we have a very special guest. But before I introduce our special guest, I'm going to go through and introduce our crew. So our regular Third Row Tesla podcast crew. So today we have Omar Kazi, Tesla Truth.
Boom.
And we have Kristen from
Hi.
K10. Thank you. And we got Vincent Yu from Tasmanian.
Hi.
All right, great. And then we got Galileo Russell from Hyperchange.
What up, third row?
And then we got Viv, who's Falcon Heavy.
Hey,
Great. All right, Omar, do you want to introduce our guest?
Please welcome the inventor of the car fart, Elon Musk.
Thank you. Thank you. Please put that on my gravestone.
Love it.
so yeah, it's kind of crazy that we're actually all here, and thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We're all Tesla customers, fans, and it's just really good that it's finally happening. And I remember that I was looking at your Wikipedia tweet that it's like this bizarre fictionalized version of reality,
Yeah.
and I replied to him like, why don't you come on a podcast and like tell your fictionalized version of reality?
Sure, exactly. Until my fictionalized version.
And you replied, okay, sure. And I was kind of like taken by surprise by that. And, you know, the way you engage and listen to your customers online, it's like, I've never seen anything like that from, you know, a CEO of a public company or
Sure.
any executive. So can you tell us a little bit where that came from, why you communicate directly instead of like having this PR strategy that most companies have?
Sure. Well, I mean, it started out. I actually had one of the very first Twitter accounts, like when it was like less than 10,000 people, and then everyone was tweeting at me like what kind of latte they had at Starbucks, and I'm like, well, this seems like the silliest thing ever. So I deleted my Twitter account, and then someone else took it over and started tweeting in my name. Yeah, and then a couple of friends of mine, Will Lee and Jason Calacanis, they both said, hey, you should really use Twitter to get your message out, and also somebody's tweeting in your name and they're saying crazy things. So I was like, I'll say crazy things in my name.
Did you have to pay them?
No, they I'm not sure who it was, but it was for some reason. I don't know. I got my account back.
Great.
And then I was just, I don't know, to some degree it's like just sort of, I just started tweeting for fun, really. And my early tweets were quite crazy. As I was trying to explain, like, it has, the arc of insanity is short, in that it's not very steep, because it started off insane. And so if it's still insane, it's, you know, it hasn't changed that much. Yeah, and I don't know. It seemed kind of fun to, you know. I think I've said this before. It's like, you know, some people use their hair to express myself. I use Twitter.
Yeah. I love that.
Why do you like Twitter so much? I mean, you could use Instagram,
As
for
opposed to
example,
other
but-
platforms.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like, I don't trust Facebook, obviously, you know, and then Instagram is fine, but it's I think not exactly my style. It's hard to convey a sort of intellectual arguments on Instagram. It's hard on Twitter too, but it's but you can't, you know, it's so. Instagram is also owned by Facebook, and I was like, you know,
Deleted.
yeah, I just deleted it. It's like I don't really need to just, if I need to say something, I only really need to say it on one platform, pretty much, and so if I'm trying, and I don't want to spend too much time on social media, so it's just like, okay, if people want to know what I'm saying, then they can just sort of go to Twitter. You know, I'll just keep doing that as long as Twitter is good, I suppose, more good than bad. Yeah, crypto scammers are really.
I understand that.
They've been taking advantage of Vincent recently.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
Yeah, there's like 10 Vincents out there.
Oh, right. But they copy everything and just like change one.
Yeah,
little
they
thing.
use my avatars and then the picture, and then they just post like right below
Yeah.
your tweet. You know.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And they block me too.
We fight them all the time. We're always like reporting them. Like every day we report like 10 people. Yeah.
Yeah, I have so many exactly conversations with Twitter. Like, come on, can you just like? I think it would take like 3 or 4 customer service people to just look at this. It's crypto scam. Block it.
It should be easy.
It should be easy.
But then, like my wife, Vegan Shelly, I think you liked her tweet the other day. She got banned for like replying to one of your tweets and quoting like the video inside of it, and then she got suspended for like a day or something. I was like, "What the heck
That
is
is
going
strange,
on?"
yeah.
So it's just weird how the algorithm works.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's a lot of manipulation, but going back to the Wikipedia page, it's kind of interesting. Just what a decade you've had. I remember I was reading somebody's article. I think they interviewed you in 2009 or something like that, and they said, if you had met Elon Musk in 2009, right after the recession, they're like struggling with the Roadster. You never would have thought that you are where you are today. You're, launching astronauts into space.
We will be, hopefully.
This year, servicing the International Space Station. I mean, Tesla with the Model 3, the Model Y, electrification really, without Tesla, it would not be where it is today. You see where the other legacy automakers are, they're not doing great. So, looking at kind of like this, like you've become this legendary figure, and looking at kind of like how people kind of see you, kind of the Ashley Vance biography or Wikipedia page, what is it that really kind of sticks out to you or, makes you laugh? Like that's just completely off base.
Yeah. Well, I think I mentioned that I kept getting referred to as an investor in like a bunch of things. And it's like, but I actually don't invest really except in companies that I help create. So I only have the only publicly traded share that I have at all is Tesla. I have no diversity on publicly traded shares.
It's like us.
Yeah, nothing. So, that's quite unusual. So, almost everyone diversifies to some degree. And then the only stock that I have of significance outside of Tesla is SpaceX, which is a private corporation, and then in order to get liquidity, which is mostly to reinvest in SpaceX and Tesla, and occasionally in provide funding for much smaller projects like Neuralink and Boring Company, then I'll actually take out loans against the Tesla and SpaceX stock. So what I actually have is whatever my Tesla and SpaceX stock is, and then there's about $1 billion of debt against that. So, which this is sometimes taken to imply that I'm claiming that I have no money, which I'm not claiming. But it's something to make it clear that you'll see some some big number in like Forbes or something. People will think I have the Tesla and SpaceX stock and I have the cash, and I'm being I'm just sitting on the cash and doing nothing with it, and like hoarding resources. I'm like, no, it's the only alternative would be to say, okay, let's give the stock to the government or something, and then the government would be running things, and the government just is not good at running things. That's the main thing. I think there's like a fundamental sort of question of like consumption versus capital allocation. This is probably gonna get me into trouble, but the paradigm of say communism versus capitalism, I think, is fundamentally sort of orthogonal to the reality of actual economics in some ways. So. What you actually care about is like the responsiveness of the feedback loops to the maximizing the happiness of the population. And if more resources are controlled by entities that have poor response in their feedback loops, so if it's like a monopoly corporation or a small oligopoly, or in the limit, I would say a monopolistic corporation in the limit is the government.